Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Georgia and I'm a knit and crochet designer, and today I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful, sleek and modern crochet laptop case. Now the first thing that we need to get into before we start the video is that you're going to need a zip. So what you need to do is grab your laptop and you need to measure the width of the laptop, so the widest edge of the laptop. However wide your laptop is, you will need a zip that is at least that length. So for example, mine was just over 14 inches, and so I got a zip that was, I'm guessing it was 15 inches, I'm not really sure. But the point is, if your zip is longer than this length, that's fine, because you can just tuck the end of the zip like down the side. But if it's too short, then you won't be able to get the laptop in the bag, so it needs to be at least the same width as your laptop. You're also going to need some yarn. So I used some macrame yarn, and that is what I would recommend if you can get hold of it. So I used a chunky / size 6 cotton yarn, but some cotton yarns are really soft and we want something that's going to be really sturdy and quite stiff. This isn't the most comfortable thing to make, like it hurts your arms and your shoulders because it needs structure, but it's so worth it. So you do need like quite a stiff looking yarn. The way that we get the structured sort of stiff feel is by using a 6.5mm hook. It will feel a little bit awkward. I actually snapped my hook while I was doing this. But if you can't get the gauge, then you can go up or down half a hook size or a hook size or 2 hook sizes or whatever you need. I'll leave the gauge on the screen for you. I would say this pattern is aimed at advanced beginners, so you do need to know the basics of how to crochet. But this isn't a classic single crochet stitch because we've got like the diagonal lines going across, which creates a lovely texture. But yeah, don't worry if you've never done this kind of stitch before, because I'll teach you all of the steps. You can also make this laptop case for any size laptop, so don't be put off if you haven't got the same laptop as me, which is why the zip can be different lengths depending on what laptop you have. So I've got a 16-inch MacBook Pro. If you have the same laptop as me or the same size laptop as me, then just follow the instructions completely. But if you have a different size laptop, I'm going to give you alterations and examples of what you can do to change the case to fit your laptop. Also, it's just worth bearing in mind that this length that I measured to get the zip was only like 14 inches because I think they measure like the screen of the laptop from this corner to this corner. So when I say 16 inches, obviously I know like it's not 16 inches this way, but that's what my laptop is called when I go on the settings. So also, here are a few other things that you will need to help you along with this pattern. Don't forget to tag me on social media once you finish your laptop case, or you know, if you upload the process, don't forget to tag me because I would absolutely love to see it. Please like the video if you do enjoy it. It really helps push my channel out there. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more tutorials from me. But without any more babbling, let's get crafting. So here is a little look at the yarn I'll be using, and then I've got my 6.5mm crochet hook, and this is what my zip looks like as well. We're going to start with the slip knot and then we're going to do our beginning chain. Now if you've got the same size laptop as me, which is the 16-inch, then you're going to chain 44, and that's if you've got the same gauge as me as well. Otherwise it won't turn out the right size. If you need to adjust the width of your case, then one extra chain equals 1.3 centimeters extra than what I've done, and alternatively one chain less would equal 1.3 centimeters taken away. This is all based on your gauge being correct. If you need to increase by 4 centimeters, which is 1 inch, then you would do 3 extra chains, because the gauge is 1 inch or 4 centimeters equals 3 stitches, but I'm breaking it down into 1 stitch because it's, you know, you might need to increase or decrease by more or less than just 1 inch. You might want to increase by ½ an inch. So if you do need to increase or decrease by ½ an inch, then what I would say is obviously you can't technically get 2 centimeters increased or ½ an inch increased or decreased, because 2 stitches would then equal 2.6 centimeters. So just use your best judgment. Every 1 stitch or every one chain equals 1.3 centimeters. So you need to use that to help you. So for example, if you need to decrease, say you've got like a little netbook and you need to decrease by 3 inches, then you would have to decrease by 9 chains. So 44 minus 9. I really hope that makes sense and helps you out. If not, please feel free to comment and I will get back to you and I will help you the best I can. Once you've got your chains all figured out, then the rest of the pattern is the same for everyone, so there'll be no more confusion throughout the rest of the pattern. Once you've got your chain, don't worry if it seems like it's going to be too long because the work is going to shrink. So starting with round 1, we're going to go into the second chain from the hook, but we're not going to go into where we normally go. We're going to go into the back. So you're going to turn the chain around, and then that little bump there, that is where you're going to go in with your hook. Give it a little push because it might feel a little bit stiff. Then you're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So we've basically done a single crochet but into the back of the chain. Now for the next stitch, we're going to put the hook through this loop and into the next chain. So insert the hook into that loop that is on the last stitch you did, and then insert the hook into the next chain, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. It may feel tight and I would suggest trying not to do your stitches too tight. For the next stitch, we're going to go into that last loop of the previous stitch. So you can just see me inserting it there, and then insert the hook into the next chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on the hook. And then we're just going to continue that in each stitch along. So inserting your hook into that last loop of the previous stitch, then insert the hook into the next chain, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And I'll show you one more time just in case you need to see it again. And you're just going to continue to do that all the way along the chain. It should look something like this, and remember, the tighter you do your stitches, the more difficult you're going to find it. So this is what my work looks like once I've gone all the way across, and you can see that it has shrunk quite a lot. Although we've gone into the last stitch, we need to do 2 more into this last stitch. So we're going to go back into the last loop from the previous stitch, but we're going to go back into the last chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and then we're going to do that again. So insert the hook through that loop, back into the last chain again, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And you will just see that little stitch marker there, but you don't need to add one to yours. I'm just using it to help me because I was writing the pattern at the time. But yeah, you don't need to worry about that. And now we're going to work back down the other side of the chain. So I haven't necessarily turned my work, I've kind of flipped it upside down, and I'm going to do the exact same as what we've already been doing, but on the other side of the chain. So we've got our work upside down now. So again, you're just inserting that hook into the last loop of the previous stitch. Then you put your hook into the next chain. Continue with that all the way to the end, and then I'll show you how to join in the round, and we'll begin with round 2. And you can just see as well what it starts to look like once you start working around the underside of the chain. Okay, so this is what the work should be looking like, and I've gotten to the very last stitch. Now, before we join in the round, we're just going to do one more stitch in this same chain space. Now, I know we did 3 at the other end, but this time we only need to do 2 in that last space because there's actually 1 already there from when we did our beginning chain. So there are 2 stitches in the last chain space, and now we're going to join with a slip stitch into that stitch there that I was just pointing to with my thumb. So you're just going to insert the hook, yarn over and pull through both loops. Now you've joined in the round, and that is round 1 complete. Here is what the work looks like. We're going to continue to work around for the rest of the project. Moving on to round 2, we're going to start off with a chain 1. That chain 1 does not count as a stitch, so we're going to go into the stitch that is pretty much directly underneath the chain 1, and I've just paused it there so you can see it properly. And you're just going to go into that stitch with a normal single crochet. At this point, I would recommend getting a stitch marker, and I'm just taking the one that was already in my project because I don't need it anymore. And I'm putting it in the chain 1 I've just done to start round 2. You don't have to do this, but I just feel like when you get to the end of the round, it's just so much easier to see what's what. And now we're going to carry on with the same stitch pattern that we did before. So you just saw I inserted my hook into the last loop of the previous stitch, then insert the hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and we're just going to continue with that in each stitch around. There's no need to do multiple stitches when you get to the ends or anything like that. Just work your way around and then I'll show you how I personally join in the round. Okay, so I'm almost at the end of round 2. I've gone into every stitch and you can see my stitch marker is still in that chain 1. I'm going to remove that stitch marker from the chain 1 and then I'm just going to join with a slip stitch in that chain 1 space where the stitch marker was. It may be a little bit tight if you didn't do it loose enough like me, but we just slip stitch and that marks the end of round 2. Your work should be looking something like this so far. Round 3, so again we're going to chain 1. We're going to go into this stitch here, so the first stitch of the previous round, and we're just going to do a normal single crochet into that stitch. Don't forget to put your stitch marker in your new chain 1. And then we're just going to continue as we have been. Insert the hook into the last loop of the previous stitch, then insert the hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Continue that in every stitch around. When you get to the end of the round, this is the last stitch, and then you'll join with a slip stitch to the marked stitch. Then you'll chain 1 and replace your stitch marker, and then this will be where you place the first stitch of the next round. And then you basically just need to repeat that around and around until the length is going to be the same length as your laptop. I'm just editing the video and I just wanted to say that if you join in the round in a different way to me, that is absolutely fine. You don't have to do it the way I do it. There are multiple ways to do it. The most important thing is that you have the same amount of stitches on every single round. That is all that matters. So on my laptop case, I've kind of got like a diagonal seam, and that's just because that's the way that I joined in the round for this project. But you don't have to have that if you don't want to. But yeah, I just wanted to clarify that the most important thing is that you keep the same amount of stitches for every single round. And if you're ever unsure, just count them and make sure that it's right. And if it's not, then you know that you've added one too many or you've not done enough. I can guarantee you if you've got too many stitches or not enough stitches, it will be around that start or end of the round. Like it will be either you're adding a stitch at the start of the round by accident or at the end of the round by accident, or you're skipping over a stitch by accident at the start or the end of the round. So I really hope that helps. And then, yeah, you're just going to carry on until you build it up enough so that it's the same size as your laptop. So this is me about halfway through mine. Okay, so you can see the sort of size that I've gone for, and I've put my laptop inside and it is literally the exact same size as my laptop, not bigger and not smaller. Now you need to grab your zip and you want some cotton thread in the same colour as your zip ideally. And then you can see I'm just looking at it now to see how big the zip is in comparison to the case. So I've got my thread and I'm using a tiny little thread needle to do this. So you want to thread the needle, and I like to do this so that I have double strand of thread coming from my needle just to make it stronger. Then I'm just going to grab my zip, and if your zip is too long, the end that you need to tuck down the side is obviously like the end of the zip, so not with the pulley bit that you actually need to undo the zip. It's this end that you will just tuck down, and you can tuck it down as far as you need to. I've tucked mine down so that the zipper end finishes right at the edge of the case. Now I'm just going to grab my needle and my thread, and I'm literally just going to attach it to the case. Now, there is a method to the madness, so I kind of folded over the zip like the material of the zip, and this made the zip sit flat. But it's actually so hard to explain, so what I'm going to do is just put some music over the top and just show you, and if you feel like you need to watch it all just to get a grasp of it, then you can, and if you feel like you've got this, then you can just skip past it. But one thing I will say is that you can kind of see how I folded over the material of the zip, because here you can see that I've kind of gone into the material and come out the other side, and that is just where I folded it over so that it then sits really flush to the crochet portion. I really hope that makes sense, but cue the music. So you can see it's a slow process, but it's totally worth it because I feel like it's so much better than like a flap or a button or something like that. And what you do is you're going to go along, all the way along the edge of the case, and then you'll cut the thread, and then you'll turn the laptop case around, and then you'll continue to go along the other side. So you don't work around, you just go all the way up to one end, cut the thread, and then do the exact same again on the other side. And when you do get to the end, you kind of just need to tuck that little flappy part of the zip, so like the flappy part of the material, I'm just tucking that down the edge and then securing it into place. And then yeah, you can just see here that that side of the zip will be all complete, and then you just do the exact same thing again on the other side, and then your zip will be complete, and then you just have to weave in the little thread bits on the ends, and you have to obviously weave in the end for the yarn as well. And once you've done that, you'll be all finished. Well done, guys. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and joining in. Well done if you did get to the end and you finished your laptop case. I would love to see yours, so don't forget to tag me on social media. Please like the video if you did enjoy it. It helps me so much and I really appreciate it. Also subscribe if you do want to see more tutorials from me. That's everything. So enjoy the rest of your day or night whenever you're watching this. Bye.